The top of Mem Gimel Amud Aleph. Hisegu Echad Mevarech. So what did it say in the Mishnah? That when people are reclining and joining together in one Suda, so one person makes a Suda for everybody. Right? Okay. Omar Rav. So Rav said as follows: Lo Yishanu, the din of the Mishnah that one makes a bracha for all was only said Ela Pas, when everyone is joining together in a Suda for bread, the Boya Seva. Then it's necessary for them to all be reclining together for the Suda, for one to be mitzi everybody else. Aval Yayin Le Boya Seva. When it comes to wine, if people are sitting together and drinking wine, even if they haven't reclined together around one bed or around one table, one could make the bracha and be mitzi everyone else. And the reason is because regarding bread, it's the derech for people to establish a suda to eat together around one table. When people drink wine, they're drinking wine, sitting in the same room, and therefore that's enough that they're there together to be able to make a bracha. One person makes a bracha for all of them. But Rav Yechanan disagrees and says, "Afilu yayin nami boya seba." Even when they're drinking wine, you could only have one person make the bracha for everyone else if they're reclining together. Ikeda Amri. Others said this machlekes of Rav and Rav Yechanan differently. Amar Rav said, "Leishanu elo pas the mahanya le'aseba." Only regarding bread will the fact that they are reclining together be effective that one could make the bracha for the rest. Aval yayin, when it comes to wine, le mahanya le'aseba. Even if they are reclining together, it doesn't help. And the reason is, like I said, again, the same point, because wine, people just sit and drink and they don't recline together like when you're eating a meal of bread. So therefore, according to this opinion, Rav said that by wine, even if they recline together, it doesn't help. Rav Yechanan Amar, and Rav Yechanan said, Afilu yayin nami mahanya le'aseba. Even regarding wine, if they do recline together, then that's effective, and then they are considered that they're eating together, and you have one bracha, one person making a bracha for all of them. So the Gemara now brings a brayse that asks a question on both of these different versions of the machlekes of Rav and Rav Yechanan. Meisvei, we learned in a brayse, Keitzat Seder Seva. What is the order of people that come and join together to eat a Suda? So this is how it works. We're talking about a person that's hosting guests in his house. So the guests enter into the house, and they don't enter directly into the dining area to eat. So what is done first? So you can learn from this brayse how you treat your guests when they come into your house. So listen. So the guests enter on Daf Mem Gimel Amud Aleph.
Houses in Karnais don't have this.
Yes, look, well, that's what it says there. The guests enter and they sit on benches, or tedrois, or they sit on chairs. And they wait until all the guests that are expected for the meal arrive. While they're waiting there, so hiviu lehem mayim, they bring water for them. Kol echad ve'echad noitul yadei achas, and each one of them washes one hand, and that's the hand that they're going to be holding the cup of wine in their hand. Rashi over here explains that when you drink wine, you have to wash your hand first, because the wine is a liquid and it's susceptible to tumah, so therefore you have to wash one hand first. We don't paskin this way, we don't do it, but this is the pshat in this brayse. Then balahem yayin, they bring out wine. So the brayse says, Kol echad ve'echad mevarach la'atzmai, and everybody makes their own bracha on the wine that they drink, and this is all in this lobby or this entrance room where the guests are waiting and everyone's arriving, and that's where they sit there before the meal begins and they drink wine. Then now they went up and they entered into the dining room and they sat around one table, or as it was in those days, they reclined around the bed. And then they bring wine. Even though the people already washed one hand before they drank the wine, now you have to wash again both hands for bread, for hamaitzi. So they have to wash again. So now the brayse continues. If they brought out wine in the middle of the Suda, even though they all made a bracha already earlier on, but echad mevarach l'kulam. Now they have to make a bracha again. They went into a new room. They went into a different place. So therefore, the bracha they made before they weren't yaitza with. They came into a new place, and now they have to make a new bracha. But here the brayse says one will make the bracha for all of them.
Does this mean always it's preferable for one person to make the bracha?
The what?
It's preferable.
Let's see what the Gemara will discuss this now. No? So the Gemara asks a question. Laha'eich lishna. According to the version that it says, the Amarav, Loishanu elapas the boya sebe, that it's only when it comes to bread, then it's necessary for them to be reclining together, for one person to be mitzi everyone else. Avoyayin loy boya sebe. But by wine, even if they're just sitting in the same room, one person can be mitzi everyone else. That was the first version we had over here. If so, kashya reisha. The question would be on the first part of the Braisa, where the Braisa says that they were sitting in this room together, waiting for the people to arrive, and there they drank wine. What does it say? That everybody made a bracha himself. Why did everyone make a bracha himself? According to this version, if it said that wine does not need a seva. So the Gemara answers, the case in this Braisa is different. Shani oirchen, over here the case of guests arriving into the room is different. Didatayu lemeka. They're having a mind, they're just there temporarily. They're having a mind to go to the main dining area to eat the Suda. They're not even sitting there permanently, b'chlal. They're just sitting around temporarily waiting for other guests to arrive. So therefore, in this case, each person that drinks wine while he's there has to make a bracha for himself.
And could also answer they come at separate times too.
Possibly, okay, but over there the Braisa was mashmi even if they were there together. Still it was saying that each one makes a bracha separately. Now the Gemara says, the next part of the Braisa, during the meal, in the dining area, according to the second version, the Amarav where Rav said Loi Shono Ela Pasta Mahanya Leaseba, only regarding bread does the haseva have the effect that one could be mitzi others. Avoyayin Loi Mahanya Leaseba. When it comes to wine, the fact that they're sitting together, it doesn't help, and each person has to make a bracha separately. So now kashya seifa. The kashya is from the second part of the braisa, where it says that they're sitting together in the dining room, and one person makes a bracha for everybody. So the Gemara answers, no, that case is different. Shani hasam. That case is different. The migu, the kamahanya le'aseba lepas, since they're sitting together to eat a meal of bread, and the fact that they're eating together bread, one person can make the bracha on the bread for all of them, mahanya le'aseba le'yayin. So that aseba is also effective for the wine, that one makes a bracha for all of them. But in a case where the people are just reclining together for the wine, according to this opinion, it wouldn't help. And each one would have to make a bracha separately. The next part of the Mishnah, what did it say? So it said in the Mishnah that if they're drinking wine in the middle of the Suda, so then each person should make his own bracha on the wine. But if they're drinking wine after the Suda, then one person makes the bracha for all of them. What's the difference? By the way, I just want to go back to one thing. When I read the Mishnah, this part of the Mishnah, the previous part of the Mishnah as well, where it says Yayin Achra Mozin, when I learned this yesterday, I touched that it means that they brought the wine after they benched. It doesn't mean after they benched. It means before they benched, but after they finished eating. If it's after you bench, you for sure have to make a new bracha on the wine. This was the first part of the Mishnah over here. But it's talking about before benching. Anyways, over here, when I get to the Mishnah, the question is, why in the middle of the Suda, each person makes his own bracha on the wine, and when the Suda is over, each person makes their own bracha. That's what the Mishnah says. The Shalu is Ben Zayma. The question was asked to Ben Zayma, why was it said that Balahem Yayin B'Teicha Mazayin, that if wine was brought in the middle of the meal, Kol Echad V'Echad Mevarach La'atzmai, each person makes a bracha for himself, and La'achar HaMazayin Echad Mevarach L'Kulam. After the meal, so then one person makes a bracha for all of them. Amalehem, so Ben Zayma answered, the reason is, Hayil Ve'eim Beis Abliya Panui. In the middle of the Suda, a person is busy eating. So if he's not going to make his bracha on his own, someone else is making the bracha, he's not going to be able to focus on being yaitze with the bracha that the other person is making because he's in the middle of eating. So therefore, in the middle of the Suda, when you bring out wine, every person should make a bracha on his own. So you know that he's not chewing food in the middle of the other person making a bracha. After the Suda, when people are not eating, so one person can be mitzi everyone else. That's Rashi's pshat. Taisa says a similar pshat, that the issue is that when you hear a bracha and you yaitze a bracha from someone else, you're supposed to answer amen. So in the middle of the Suda, people are busy eating, they're not going to be able to answer amen. But after the Suda, one person makes a bracha for all of them. The last part of the Mishnah, the Gemara discusses now, was the bracha that you make on mugmar, which are incense. So you make a bracha bayre mini b'samim. So it said in the Mishnah there that v'hu aymer ala mugber, and he will make the bracha on these incense. He makes the bracha on the wine, he makes the bracha on the incense. So the Gemara will explain this. Midiktani, from the fact that it said in the Mishnah, that this individual that made the bracha on the wine, since he started the mitzvah, he was mighty others on that. So he also makes the bracha on the incense. The klal, it sounds like the ikke adif mineh. There is someone else that's greater than him. There's someone else that's more chashav than him, a bigger talmid chacham than him, that should really be the one making the bracha. But because he started, so therefore he also makes the bracha on the mugma, on the incense. V'amai, and the reason is, why does he make, some take out this line over here in the Gemara, but I'll read it. V'amai, why does he make the bracha? Hoyel v'hu natal yodav tchila b'achreina. Since he's the one that began, he washed mayim achreinim first, so he began with the mitzvah of washing mayim achreinim, so therefore he also benches, he also makes the bracha on the mugmer. He's the one that's doing the mitzvah, he began the mitzvah, and he continues being mitzi everybody. Now the Gemara explains, what's this inyan of mayim achreinim? Misayele le Rav. This is a proof to what Rav said. Hanaitul yod of tchila ba'achreina, the one that washes first, mayim achreinim, who mizumen lebracha. He is the one that's invited, or that's the one that's designated to bench for everybody else. As it was in those times, that not everyone had a bencher, and not everyone benched for themselves. B'chlal. One person said the benching, it was mitzi everyone else. So the one that washed mayim achreinim first, because he began with one mitzvah, he began with one thing, so he's the one that will be designated to bench for everyone else. And the Gemara brings an incident that happened. Rav v'Rab Chiya hava yasvi kamei de Rabbi besudase. Rav and Rab Chiya were sitting in front of Rabbi at a meal. Amalei Rabbi l'Rav. Rabbi said to Rav, Kum mashi yodech. Stand up, wash your hands from mayim achreinim. Chazyei, so Rab Chiya saw the mirsus. That Rav was trembling. He was afraid of this comment that Rabbi made. But what happened? In other words, he sort of was thinking that maybe my hands were dirty, maybe I wasn't acting appropriately, or the Suda is dragging out too long, and Rabbi's telling me, go wash your hands, that's it, we're finished, we're done. That's how he understood what Rabbi was telling him. Amalei Rab Chiya, so Rab Chiya explained to his friend Rav and said, Bar Pachsi, son of nobleman. That was his title, because he came from great people. Ayin bebirchas mezayna kamalach. What he's just trying to tell you is, you're going to be washing mayim achreinim first, and you're going to be mitzi everyone with the benching. So go look into the words of the benching to prepare to say the words clearly, to remember the words, to be able to be mitzi everyone else in benching.
Even amongst tzaddikim, one person bench for everybody else.
Yeah, that's what it says here. The people didn't. Bichsa wasn't written that one person would bench for everybody. That was the minhag. Now we go, the rest of basically of the sugya that we're going to learn today, most of it is going to be about the brachos that you make on reyach of various different things. The reyach from besamim and all kinds of smells. So it said in the Mishnah that you make a bracha on the incense. When do you make a bracha on this incense? On the smell of the incense. When the smoke comes out. He didn't yet smell it. How is he making the bracha if he didn't smell it yet? And according to your question, when you make the bracha on bread, he didn't eat it yet. You hold the bread in your hands and you make the bracha right before you eat it. So hachanami over here as well, by the smell of the incense, the smoke comes out of the incense, and you're going to smell it, and you make the bracha right before the smell. Others said that it was Amar Rav Chisda Amar Zeiri in the name of Zeiri. All of these incense, mevarchen alein, the bracha on them is boirei atzei besamim. Chutz, besides one thing, which you do not make the bracha of boirei atzei besamim. What is that? Chutz mi mushk. Besides musk, Shemen Chaya, who? This is an oil that comes from a Chaya. Because it doesn't come from a tree, it doesn't come from wood, it comes from a Chaya, and the bracha that's made on it is Bayrei Mine B'Samim. So this is very, very interesting. This is mamish an unbelievable Ashkacha Pratis that we're learning about this tonight. Because actually the girsa that there is in the Rif is Mushka, with an aleph. And in a few places it's brought as Mushka, and the Rebbe quoted this benegay to the name of the Rebbetzin. And what's unique about this is a few things. First of all, as you see over here, it's a derivative of an animal. There's some kind of an animal, I forgot the name. According to most opinions, I don't know if most, but many opinions, the Rambam and others hold that this is Moir, which is from the Samamonic Ketairis. And it comes from an animal where there's blood that congeals, some kind of a deer that
India has like on its neck.
has on its neck blood that becomes dried up, and it has a very, very good a very good smell. Very, very good smell, and that was used for the Samamonic Ketairis, and this is what the Gemara is talking about over here as well. This mushk. That's one thing. Another thing is, this is also brought in a Maimer, and the Rebbe quoted it as well, in Torah, a Maimer Megillah Esther, where he talks about the name Mordechai, Mordechai. So he talks about Moir, which is connected to Mordechai's name, and he brings over there from our sugya that some Rishonim even say, I believe it's Rabbeinu Yaina, that this Moir, this mushk, you're allowed to even eat it. It has a certain taste that it could be mixed into foods, and you're allowed to even eat it as well. And he compares it to the honey that comes from bees that you're allowed to eat. And he says this mushk that comes from an animal, a not kosher animal, you're also allowed to eat. Actually, I don't know if it comes from a not kosher animal. I think it comes from a not kosher animal. I believe it's a not kosher animal, but still, you're allowed to eat it. And there's no issue of dam, it's not dam anymore, it's dried up, and therefore it doesn't have a din of blood, and you're allowed to eat it. That's the halacha. But then he brings another opinion, the Rosh disagrees. The Rosh says, no, you're not allowed to eat it. It's only mutter to smell, but not to eat. And the Alter Rebbe there in the Maimer is masber that there's a concept of zdainis nasis like Kazachias, or zdainis nasis like Kishgogis. There's various levels where you could be mahapa chayshach la'ir. And this idea, this inyan is in the Moir that was used in the Samamonic Ketairis in the Beis HaMikdash. And it may even be mutter to eat, is this inyan to be mahapa chayshach la'ir. That's the teichen of the Maimer there. The Rebbe brought it up and again to the name of the Rebbe and Mushka, and in Tafshin Nun the Rebbe spoke about it, and then in Tafshin Nun Beis, and the Sikha there's a big arichas about this, that the name Mushka shows on Tainug, on Reyach. We'll see soon in the Gemara that Reyach is something that Hanasham and Nanis Mimena, where it goes on a very high level of Tainug. The Rebbe said the Mushka, the smell of this is the Tainug of the Yechidish Benefesh, the highest level of Tainug. That's the Teichen of the Sikha that the Rebbe spoke in this Inyan.
It says Chaya also.
Huh?
Min
chayahu. It comes min chayahu. It comes from a chaya. Okay, no. That's what the Rebbe said. That her name was Chaya Mushka. There's the chaya, and then there's Yechida, which is the mushk. Sagt the Gemara weiter. Meisvei Eimevarchen Boireyatze Besamim. It says in the Braise, you don't make the bracha of Boireyatze Besamim. Ella ala farsamoin shall base Rebbe, vala farsamoin shall base Keser. Only on a farsamoin, which is some kind of a wood, I think, what's it called? Balsam wood? Balsam wood, which is in the house of Rebbe and in the house of the Caesar, very expensive wood. Vala hodas shebachol mokim, or an adasim. Only on these things do you make the bracha of Boireyatze Besamim. But before he said that all of incense, you make the bracha of Boireyatze Besamim. To yufta. So this refutes the statement we said before. The oil that's made with this afar samoin. What bracha do you make on this oil? Not on the afar samoin itself, but the oil. Rav Yehuda said, we thank the Eibusha for creating the oil of our land. So he answered, and he said to that, so Rav Chisda answered him and said, no, bar mine de Rav Yehuda. Besides what Rav Yehuda would make. What Rav Yehuda's bracha that we can't prove from that. The Chavivulei Eretz Yisrael. He had a special Chavivus for Eretz Yisrael, so he said Beire Shemen Artzeinu. However, L'kula Almemai. Everybody else that doesn't feel that Chavivus and doesn't make that bracha, so what bracha do we make? Amalei Hachi Amar Rab Yechanan. The bracha that we make on oils that have a good smell, Beire Shemen Orev. The Eibusha created this Shmaka oil. Rav Ada Barave said, Hai Kesharta, which is another one of the Samamonic Ketairis. Rashi says, Koisht. I don't know what the English translation says, but the Rashi says there's another one of them of Samamonic Ketairis. So the bracha on them is made Boirei Atzi Besamim. That's on the Koisht itself. Aval Meshcha Kvisha. If it's in oil, if you place it inside oil to be kavush there, what's the word for cover?
Fermented.
Not fermented, no.
Pickled?
If you sort of. If you're soaking it in oil, so now you see the oil, but you don't see the koshers inside. So what bracha do you make on the oil? Light. So you don't make a bracha on the eights on Beirei Atzi b'samim. You have to make a bracha on the oil, which is Beirei Shemen Ariv. But Rav Kahana says Afilu meshcha kvisha. Even if it's inside the oil, you still make the bracha Beirei Atzi b'samim. Avo meshcha tchina. If you took this ksharta and you ground it into the oil, so now you don't have it, you don't see it anymore. It's ground inside the oil. Loy. Then you don't make the bracha of Beirei Atzi b'samim. Nerdoi says, Afilu meshcha tchina, even if it's ground into the oil, you still make the bracha on the wood, on the original wood that you ground inside the oil. Amar Rav Gidl Amar Rav. Rav Gidl said in the name of Rav, Hai Similak, which Rashi says, Yasmin, jasmine. Mervachin elavei Beirei Atzi b'samim. The bracha that it's made on it is Beirei Atzi b'samim. Amar Rav Chanan al Amar Rav Hani Chalfi Dima, which is a few pshatim of what this is. One of the pshatim is that it's rosemary, but there's another pshat as well. I don't remember right now. Mervachin elayu Beirei Atzi b'samim. The bracha is also made Beirei Atzi b'samim. Now, what's the chiddush with these two things, with the jasmine and which is semlak and chalfi dima, that you make the bracha Beirei Atzei b'samim? Atzei means that it has a stem which is like a piece of wood. It's strong, a strong stem, or like a tree. Other Rishonim say that can be compared to a tree. But l'chayre, these plants, these are flowers that don't have a very, very strong stem. They're not really a tree. They don't have a strong stem like a piece of wood. So why are we making the bracha on them Beirei Atzei b'samim? Oma Mazutra. So Mazutra says, "My kara." What's the pasuk where we see that even something which grows with such a stem, you can make the bracha Beirei Atzei b'samim? Pasuk is V'hiya losam hagaga. She brought them to the rooftop. V'atitmenem bepishtei ha'etz, and she hid them in the wooden of flax. So it considers flax to be wood, to be strong like wood. So the same thing is also with these flowers, that they have a stem that's not so strong, but it can be compared to eights. Hi narkum de ganunisa. What's narkum? Do you have it over there? The taich of narkum. Narkum is
Rose or lily.
Roses or lilies. Okay. The ganunisa, if they're growing in the gardens, mevachin lavei Beirei Atzi b'samim. The bracha that's made on it is Beirei Atzi b'samim, because over there the ones that grows in the garden have a stronger stem, like a piece of wood. The davra, the ones that grow out in the outside wild, Beirei Isvi b'samim. They have a different bracha. The herbs of b'samim, because they don't have a strong stem like with wood. Amar Rav Sheishis said, Hani sigli. The sigli. What's the bracha that you make on sigli, which is violets, I believe? The bracha on it is isve, it's a herb. It's not wood. One that smells an esrig or a chavusha, which is a quince, or any other fruits that have a good smell. You say the bracha barach shanasan reyach toiv b'peiris. Yes, all these things over here are halacha. It's brought in Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch. It's brought also in the Seder Birchas Hananin. This is all a halacha. But the halacha is that if you make a Beirei Mini B'samim on any of these things, you're yaitza. Beirei Mini B'samim is the general bracha that you can make on any of them. I'm not sure if it's a chatchila. I don't know. We make the bracha Beirei Mini B'samim. Otherwise, the bracha that we make is, as it says over here, the various different brachas. But b'diavad, the bracha Beirei Mini B'samim is like the shahakol of foods. That bracha works for everything. Amar Rav Yehuda said, a person that goes out in Nisan, in the month of Nisan, and he sees trees that are starting to grow. You say the following bracha: there's nothing lacking in his world. Is beautiful creations and beautiful trees. To benefit from them, bnei adam, people. That's the bracha we make in the month of Nisan, and the Alter Rebbe Paskin's taka that it's only in the month of Nisan. There's a machlokes Rishonim about this. Some say it doesn't mean dafka in the month of Nisan, it means in the tkufa, when the trees come out, in the season when the trees come out, so you can make the bracha even if it's not in Nisan. But the Alter Rebbe Paskins that you only make the bracha b'shem u'malchus if it's taka in the month of Nisan itself. Omer Rav Zutra.
Even Lamed Nissen.
Yes, even Lamed Nissen. No, but it has to be in the month of Nissen Dafka.
So it doesn't say it's about tree of Peiros.
But that's only going to get to Peiros. Yeah, right. But it's only Peiros. Omer Rav Zutra bat Tuvia Marav minayin shemavarchan al reyach. From where do we know that we make a bracha on reyach? Shenamar koil haneshama tahalol ka. The neshama praises the Eibishter. Eizeo dovish haneshama nenes mimenu. So it says the neshama has to praise the Eibishter. When does the neshama have a no that it has to praise the Eibishter? Veina guf nene mimenu. And the guf does not have a no. Have oim ezeo reyach. That's the reyach. Reyach is the hano for the neshama. And that's what you have to make the bracha on. V'amar Rav Zutra bat Tuvia Marav Asidin Bachure Yisrael Sheyitnu Reach Toiv Kalavanoin. The youth amongst Yidden, when Mashiach comes, will have a beautiful aroma, like in the trees or in Lebanon, in Lebanon. Shenemar Yelchu Yenkaisav V'yihi Kizayis Hoidoi V'Reach Loi Kalavanoin. Yenkaisav is the youth, the young ones that will go, and they'll have a reach like Lebanon. The Marsha says that you see when they get to Mashiach, it says Meirech v'Dain, that Mashiach is known by the fact that he's going to have the inyan of reach, the smell, and the same thing will even be by all Klal Yisrael, including the Bachurei Yisrael, even the young ones amongst Klal Yisrael. Rav Zutra bat Tuvia, another statement that the same Amayra said. Rav Zutra bat Tuvia Marav, Mai Dichsiv, what is it that it says in the pasuk? Es hakoil asa yafa bi'itoy. Everything Hashem made beautiful and right in its time. Melamed, this teaches us shekol echad ve'echad, that every individual yipolei HaKadosh Baruch Hu umnasei b'fanav. The Eibishter makes him feel good and nice about the work, about his craft, about his profession. Amarav Papa, in other words, Rashi here explains, in order that people should want to do all kinds of different professions, so the Eibishter makes it that different people enjoy what they do, even though it might be a dirty work. But the person that has that profession, it's in his eyes, it's beautiful. Rav Papa, Hained Amri Inchi, this is also the saying that people say, Talale kaira ledavar acher. You give a chazer, a kaira, you give him a beautiful piece of kaira, which is the shoots that come out of the date tree. And we learned about this once regarding what the bracha is. This is sort of hearts of palm, or the palm shoots. You give a clean piece to a chazer, view the day of it. What does he do? He takes it and he drags it in the dirt and he eats it in the dirt. So everyone does things in their way, and they're happy with the way they do things. They should create the nature that way, that everyone should be happy with their profession. A person that walks outside with a avuka, with a big flame of fire, and at night, kishnayim. It's like he's two people that are walking together, right? There's a halacha, you're not supposed to go out alone at night, especially in those times when there was no light, there's no street lights at all, so you shouldn't be going out at night alone. There's mazikim and shadim, but if you're going out with an avuka, with a torch of fire, so then it's like two people. V'yerach, if there is the moon, the light of the moon, kishloisha, then it's like three people. So the question was asked, what was the meaning of the statement? Avuka kishnayim bahadi didei. Does that mean that when you have a torch of fire, that it's like two people including yourself? Or perhaps it means it's like two people besides you. So the Gemara will explain. Tashema. So come in here from a Braisa where it says the Yerach Kishloisha. So what did we say? That if it's the moon, the light of the moon, it's like three people. So now what's the nafkamina? What's the pshat of it that it's three people? If the pshat in this was that the three means including him, shapir. So then it makes sense. We understand what the point of three people is, as he's going to explain in a moment. But if it means that it's like three people besides him, which means that it's like four people going in the dark at night, what's the point? Who cares if it's like four people? The Tana has said, when a person goes alone out at night, nire umazik. The shadim will appear and they will harm you. L'shnayim, if there are two people that are going out at night together, nire, the shadim will appear to you, but ve'ena mazik, they're afraid to harm you. L'shloisha, if it's three people that are going out at night, einay nire kol iker. he doesn't appear to you whatsoever. So 3 people is the maximum number of people for the full safety if you don't want to get scared off by any shaitim that will appear to you. But a 4th person is totally unnecessary. Elalav shma mina. So therefore, from this we can understand avuka kishnayim, that the point, the meaning over here was that if you're holding a torch of fire, it's like 2 people, bahadididei, together with him, shma mina. This proves it. And then if you're going out, if it's in moonlight, then it's like 3 people. Amar Azutra bar Tuvi Amarav, Amarav Chana bar Bizna, Amarav Shimon Chasida, Amri La others said, Amarav Yoichin Misham Rab Shimon ben Yoichi. Noyach Leila Adam, Shiyapel Atzma L'Tachkif Shana Eish. It's better for a person to be ready and throw himself into a furnace of fire. Val Yalbin Pnei Chaveirei Berabim, and he should not embarrass his friend in public. Minala, where do we learn this from? Mitamar. We learn it from what Tamar did. Shanamar, as the pasuk says, he Mutzais, she's being taken out to Chiv Misa, to be killed, because she was suspected, or they thought that she was Mizana, and then she was an Eishes Ish, and so on. But what happened? She didn't identify Yehuda beferish and say he's the person that I had a relationship with. She just said Yehuda gave her the items to hold on to, and she said whoever this belongs to, that's the person. She didn't disclose it, however. And Yehuda could have kept it secret as well. She was ready to die, not to embarrass Yehuda in public. Tanrabanon, we learned in another brayse, heviu lefonav shemen v'hados. A person has oil, right? This is at the end of the Suda. As we learned before, this was their minig. They had the end of the Suda. They would smear their hands with oil, and they also would smell hadassim. So if they brought shemen to smear their hands, and hadassim. So which one do you make a bracha on first? Beishamai says, mevarach ala shemen, first you make a bracha on the oil, va'achakach mevarach ala hadas.
The smell?
And only, yes, for the smell, first you make the bracha on the oil, and then after that you make the bracha on the hadassim. Beis Hillel say, mevarach ala hadas, first you make the bracha on the hadassim, va'achakach mevarach ala shemen, and afterwards you make the bracha on the oil. Rabbi Gamliel said, ani achriya, I will say what the halacha is. Shemen zechinu l'reichai v'zechinu l'sichasai. Oil has a dual purpose. You can smear it on your hands, and you could also use it for a smell, for a good smell, right? But on the other hand, hadas l'reichai zechinu. Hadas has a good smell, but l'sichasai l'zechinu. You can't use it for anything else. You can't use it to smear it on your hands, so it's not as good as the oil. So therefore, you make the bracha first on the oil. Rabbi Yochanan said regarding this machlokes, halacha kedivrei amachriya. We paskin like Rabbi Gamliel that gave this reason to paskin like Beis Shammai. Rav Papa ikla lebei Rav Huna berei Rav Ikke. Rav Papa was at the place of Rav Huna berei Rav Ikke. Aisol kamai shemen v'hodos. They brought out shemen and adasim, oil and adasim. Shachar Rav Papa barach hahodos bereish. He went and took the adasim and he made the bracha on the adasim first. V'hadar barach Hashemen, and only afterwards did he make the bracha on the oil. Amar lei, so Rav Huna told him, leisavel emar halacha kedivrei amachriya. You don't hold like what we learned that the halacha is like Rabbi Gamliel that said that you make the bracha on the oil first. So why did you make the bracha on the adasim first? Amar lei, so he responded and said, Rav Papa responded, hachi amar Rava. I don't know. This is what Rava said. Halacha ke Beis Hillel. The halacha is always like Beis Hillel. So therefore, I paskin like Beis Hillel. So the Gemara explains, Velohi, it's not true. Really over here we don't paskin like that Beis Hillel, but Lishtamute Nafshe Huda Ovid. He only said this because he was trying to dreis a chayis from what he was being blamed. He saw he made a mistake. He was embarrassed, Rashi says, because he made a mistake. So therefore he said, no, we can paskin like Beis Hillel. But really, he knew that he made a mistake and the halacha is really like Beis Shammai.
So you could lie in order to get out of...
He didn't. He said it's possible that Rav did say that the halacha is like Beis Hillel, but B'Payil he knew what Rabbi Yochanan said that the halacha is like Rabbi Gamliel, and he just said it in order to dreis a chayis from what he was blamed, the mistake that he made.
V'lohi means what?
V'lohi, we don't paskin like he said that the halacha is like Beis Hillel.
So this is the one time we paskin like Beis Shammai?
Not the one time, no, not the only time. Ton Rabbanon, we learned in Abraise. Hey, lifneim shemen v'yayin. How about if you have oil or wine? What do you make a bracha on first? Beis Shammai yomrim oiches hashemen biyaminai. You hold the oil in your right hands, right hand that is, whatever you make the bracha on, you hold in your right hand. V'sayayim b'smailoi, and you hold the wine in your left hand. And mevarach ala shemen. First you make the bracha on the oil, and v'chayzim mevarach ala yayin. And only afterwards do you make the bracha on the wine.
I'm smelling the wine?
On drinking the wine. Beis Hillel oimrim, Beis Hillel say, oiches esayayim biyaminai, you hold the wine in your right hand, because that's the bracha you're going to make on first. And v'sashemen b'smailoi, and the oil in your left hand. Mevarach ala yayin, v'chayzer mevarach ala shemen. First is the bracha on the wine, and then the bracha is on the oil. And then the Gemara says, this oil, these which was some kind of a oil with a smell, a perfume that they smeared on themselves by the meal. So after you finish the meal and you have leftovers of this oil on your hands, v'tochoy b'roish hashamish, wipe it off on the head of the servant, of the waiter, that is. Okay, and v'im shamish talmid chachamu, if he's a talmid chacham and you don't want to wipe it off on his head, as we'll see soon why. Tochoy b'kaisel, wipe off this smell of this perfume, basically, on the wall. Wipe off your hands. Now, what's the reason why you have to wipe off this oil before you leave the Suda to go out? It's not befitting for a talmid chacham to go out into the street with this perfume smell on him. So therefore, you should wipe it off either on the head of this waiter or on the wall. Okay? Talk to Gemara Rabbanon. Since we brought this up about how a talmid chacham should go into the street, so the Gemara is going to bring up more in Yanam over here regarding this. Tan Rabbanon Shisha Dvarim Genayla talmid chacham. There are 6 things that are not befitting for a talmid chacham. Al Yetze Kishu Mevusim L'Shok. He should not go out into the street with these perfumes on him. Val Yetze Yechide Balayla. He shouldn't go out alone by night, because he could be suspected that he's going somewhere inappropriate. Val Yetze Bimin Olam HaMetulaim. He should not go out with shoes that have patches on it. It's not befitting for a talmid chacham. Val Yesaper Misha B'Shok. You shouldn't speak with a woman in the street. Val Yesef B'Chabura Shel Amei Oretz. And you shouldn't sit amongst a group of Amei Oretz. Join them in their conversations and sit with them. Val Yikones B'Achroina LeBeis Medrash. And he shouldn't come in last. He shouldn't be the last one coming into the Beis Medrash. V'yash Oimrim, others say, Af lo yafsiya psiya gasa. He also shouldn't walk big steps, take large steps walking. Val yahalech b'kaim ezekufa. And he also shouldn't walk with an erect posture, walking up with an erect posture. So the Gemara is going to go through all of these things that we just said. What's the issue with them, and what's the story? We said a talmid chacham should not go out with a perfume on him in the street. It's only in a place where you could be chayshed a person from mishkav zachar, so then he shouldn't go out with perfumes which is trying to attract another male to him. But otherwise it's not an issue. Rav Sheshes said, Lo yamaron elo bebigdai. This was only said if the perfumes is on his garment. Aval begufai, but if he puts the perfumes on his body, zeya ma'abrele. So that's just there to remove sweat, and that's not an issue. Rav Papa said, V'saidai kibigdai. The halacha of putting these perfumes in his ears is like putting the perfumes on a garment. And it's not allowed. Others said, no, kegufay dami. It's like putting the perfumes on your body, and it is allowed. So that's regarding the perfumes that a talmid chacham shouldn't go out. And he shouldn't go out alone at night, mishum chashada, because he could be suspected that he's going somewhere inappropriate. This is not said, if he doesn't have established a shir to learn with somebody, to learn Torah with somebody at night. If he has a set time that he goes out to learn with somebody at night, so then made the leidne cause. So people know that he's going to his shir to learn Torah, and there's no issue, no one's going to suspect him. We learned that you shouldn't go out with shoes that are patched. This proves what Rab Chia bar Abba said. It's embarrassing, it's not befitting for a talmid chacham to go out with shoes that are patched. Heini, is this so? Rab Chia bar Abba did go out with patched shoes. Rav Nachman, so Rav Nachman answered, Bitloi al gabi tloi. The only time there is an issue with a patched shoes is if there's one patch on another patch. If it's really torn completely and it's really not befitting for a talmid chacham. V'loya maran ela bepansa. And the issue is on the part of the shoe that's on the top of the foot, the part of the shoe that everyone could see. Aval begilda, less lumbar. But if it's at the sole of the shoe, so then nobody could see it, so it doesn't matter. Ubepansa lo yamaran, and also even if it's on the top part of the shoe, this wasn't said ela beorcha, only if his person is going out on his way. Aval bebeisa, but if he's in his house, so then less lumbar. Then it doesn't matter if you have patches on your shoe.
Says sole.
Huh?
Rashi says the sole of the shoe.
Yeah. I think I said that.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. V'lo yamaran ela b'yemais hachama. This is only said in the summer. Aval b'yemais hageshamim, but in the winter when there's mud on the ground and your shoes get all dirty and it covers the shoe, you can't notice that there's a patch on it. Less lumbar, doesn't matter. We said a talmid chacham should not speak with a woman in the street. Amar Rav Chisda says, even if it's his own wife. Tanya nami hachi, we learned the same in a braisa, even his own wife. Hibita, even if it's his own daughter. Even if it's his sister. Why? People don't know who his family is. So since people don't know, so therefore it seems like he's speaking with a strange woman in the street. He shouldn't sit with a group of people that are amaratzim. My time, why not? He might come to follow them and be drawn into the conversation and go after them. She shouldn't come in last into the Beis HaMedrash. Why not? People will refer to him as a pesheya. Rashi says misatz, lazy. He looks like he's lazy. He's the one, the talmid chacham, he arrives the last to shul. Others say, you shouldn't take large steps when he's walking. The Omamar. A person that walks large, quickly, walks quick steps, so that takes away a 500th of his vision. It affects the person's vision.
This is why I don't jog, by the way.
My tekante. So how do you correct that issue of the vision of the person? Lahadre, you bring it back. B'kedusha de beishimshi. When you make wine on the night of Shabbos, Friday night, you make wine. You make kiddush, that is, on wine Friday night. That brings back the vision. Okay, this is the inyan. This is the source of the inyan that is making kiddush, and havdalah also is good for the eyes, and this is the makar of why we take from the havdalah matzah Shabbos and we put it on the eyes. And the Marsha brings it here. We don't do it Friday night because on Shabbos to do something which looks like a connection to a refuah, that you're taking something and putting on your eyes for a refuah, we don't do on Shabbos. But matzah Shabbos, havdalah, we put it on the eyes mitzad this inyan. This is the source.
Looking at the candles.
1 second, let's just finish the Gemara. We have 2 more lines. Va'al yahalech. Va'al yahalech. Yeah, but pashtus, it means drinking the wine. That the skula is to drink it. But there's also an ian to put it, by Havdalah, to put it on your eyes. V'hal yahalech b'kaim is a kufa. A person should not walk with an erect posture. Why? The Tana said, Amahalech b'kaim is a kufa fil arba ames. A person that walks with an erect posture, even only 4 ames, ki'ilu deichik ragle shchina. He's walking with a gaiva and he's pushing away the shchina from him. A person has to know that the glory of Hashem is present everywhere. So why is he pushing away a debishah? There's a famous story about this thing that Rebbe told many people to be mahada to make kiddush on wine dafka and make a kiddush and havdalah dafka on wine and not on grape juice, unless a person mamish can't. But to make on dafka on wine, there's a famous story with believe so. There's a famous story with an individual in Long Beach. I think his name is Dr. Lovich, if I remember correctly. He had a famous story where he was in a closet somewhere and something went into his eye and he had a terrible situation with his eye, and the Rebbe told him to be mahadar and making kiddush on wine. And to make a long story short, he had a miraculous recovery. And he himself was an eye doctor, I believe. I believe he's an eye doctor. And he had mamash on nes goli because of being mahadar and making kiddush on wine. Kedushin Avdallah and wine.
What's the rules when it comes to
Why is that
smelling?
even
What's
in-
the